you don't believe I actually came into this country with Ghana must go. You know,
I mean,
because
I remember talking to the first two people. One just look at me like this. He just kept on going. Okay.
Like what the hell is this?
Yeah. See this one.
this African boy.
What language is this?
Viewers.
So
Reach there, say the DSO not they do anything. Or Benny, just go to the department yourself.
Yo.
Let's say you are late. You are late for some very reasons, and the DSO is telling you, you have to go back to Ivory Coast or go back to Nigeria. You're telling us, madam, just wait. Give me a minute. Go try use your GPS. Because now it's a lot easier because of the internet. Go straight to the dean's office and say, I'm an international student just coming in.
So when I got to the airport in Atlanta, being the biggest airport, I think, in the world, I had no idea. I didn't know how to navigate. I had not done proper investigation or proper research to know that I can actually get on a train at the airport to go from one gate to the other.
Did you walk?
So I was running.
He just come from Nigeria. You don't before.
I had no idea that I could get on it. I mean, I could hear about it. Some of them are very, very fast, and to them, we are very fast as well. When you communicate with them, they say we should slow down when we're trying to communicate.
That's why I'm shocked that you are.
They say we're talking fast.
Yeah.
But to me, coming in as a Nigerian student, an international student coming in newly, who is not used to that manner of speaking and communication, I thought they were speaking too fast for me, so then I'm trying to take my notes, and I missed a lot of points.
All right, guys, it's nice to be here back again from last week. I hope everybody's doing great. A lot has been happening generally across the world. Today, I was just informed that my cousin, which we grew up together back home in Nigeria, just died. He slumped.
Wow.
And
Sorry
just
to
collapsed. Guy was 62. But that's just also bring into perspective how fragile or how fleeting life is. So I'm saying that to say this, that at the end of the day, you just got to do whatever your passion is, right? Don't really worry so much about, what people are going to say or what direction do I need to take. Just do whatever in your heart of hearts you really want to do, because we're on borrowed time. Nobody's promised tomorrow. He woke up this morning, had plans of going to church tomorrow, had plans of having meetings on Monday. But by 8 p.m. to Nigerian time, he was dead. So that just tell you how fleeting or how ephemeral life is. So before we start, just a brief introduction. I just want
to before you continue. Sorry to hear about your cousin, passing, and of course it belies the point that life is short. If you try and do what we are thinking we want to do. It's just that it raised a quick question in me. Why do we worry so much? Why do we care so much about, what maybe we're thinking of doing something, but we worry so much about a lot of things that may not even be associated with what we are thinking. It was just a thought that came in, as you were talking about your cousin, right? And you were saying, we're on borrowed time, but we just seem to always worry about so many things, in life anyways. So
yeah, I think it's a myriad of factors. Training, we're all, like you said last week, creatures of habits, and also our upbringing matters a lot. We've been drilled over time growing up to have expectations, to be able to go out there and fulfill a need, so because of that, we just always have the need to try to do much more and try to compare our life against our contemporaries, which in actual sense of it shouldn't be the case, because it doesn't really matter. Like we all said last week, it really doesn't matter. Try to limit the way you worry, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. But also because you want to enjoy life, just do what it is that you're passionate about. Because the day you die alone, not even not with your wife, not with your kids, not with anybody. So life is really very singular. We try to pluralize it all the time, and so I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this for my friend. No, bro. First and foremost, do anything you want to do for yourself. Then, if
Mm,
that aligns with the needs of your family, then that's fine. Then everybody's on the same track. That's
yeah,
my opinion on it.
yeah.
I didn't want to sidetrack you guys, but I just wanted to let,
Thanks for sharing. I just, it's fine.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
All right.
I didn't
Yeah.
want to. I just wanted you
Yeah,
guys
I'm
to
sorry
also,
about that, man.
yeah, to
Yeah,
bring more into light that what we are trying to do here is pretty important, and let's just do what we need to do for us. So just
yeah.
a brief introduction before we go into today's topic. My name is Aikohi again. I already said that in the last episode. I'm a pharmacist, a scientist, and I'm always very passionate about sharing my experiences, challenges, and because I feel those are the things that are important to me, and I feel that a lot of people also have a similar mindset like ours, and they're out there trying to make trying to make life a lot better or easier for not just themselves, but also for other people out there. So I'll also give you guys the opportunity to also say a brief introduction of yourselves. Then we can go on to today's topic.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mark. Hi, everyone. Eniola is my name. It's a pleasure to be with you guys today. And I'm also a pharmacist, and also I'm a health economics and outcomes researcher. And I'm looking forward to sharing my experience, my Japa story and how the journey has been so far. Most importantly, looking forward to exchange ideas with my friends and with everyone. Looking ahead to how we can make our short stay in this life as fulfilling and as rewarding as possible. Try to control the controllables and pray for the uncontrollables to still work in our favor. So yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Hopefully, as we share our story, our unique story, we were able to connect with multiple individuals, and you're able to better take informed decisions as regards your own pathway. Whatever level you're in, you're trying to get in, you're already in whatever nuggets or information or stories that we share, hopefully, it can connect with you and also help you on your path.
All right, thank you, Randy, and hi everybody. This is Blessing again. It's nice to have you. For those of you that have had the opportunity to listen to our first episode, we thank you. And for those of you that are joining us for the first time, you're welcome, and we thank you as well. And it is our sincere desire and hope that you will remain with us, and hope, praying. I mean, hoping that our contents will um, interest you, and you would be able to learn one or two things from the stories that we are all sharing based on our individual experiences. So I welcome you, and looking forward to a robust conversation today.
All right, cool, cool, cool. So that was nice from everybody. So today's topic really it's going to be slightly connected to the first topic. First topic basically was just giving you guys a background of what informed our choices to actually Japan in the first place, to leave the shores of Nigeria and to come to the West, basically to seek for greener pastures or better opportunities. Why that is ground in itself, that also doesn't come without its own challenges. And to be honest, a lot of us actually didn't don't know because we've never worked on that part or tried that journey before. So usually for cases like that, once you're going in, I would in quotes use the word blind. There's a lot of unexpected scenarios or unexpected things that can actually happen. So we're going to be talking a little bit about some of those own expectations or challenges in quotes, just to share and make you guys understand that from our own perspective, these were some of the things we had to face or brave through. um, to be able to make that our switch or that transition a good one for us. So basically, I'm going to leave the floor open and allow one of the other guys to start with their challenges, and eventually, it's going to come to me, and then I'm also going to share mine.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can go first, and I'll just maybe make some few points, and can also come back later and maybe talk about some other challenges that I experienced or I faced, when I came in into the US. And one of the things that um, I think my challenges started from the airport, you know, um, getting, on arrival to the US. And um, it is to show that, I mean, coming into the country that you've never been to can be very daunting. And um, it is not expected, that especially if you are not the type of person that is familiar with, international travels. Um, and when I arrived through Ashley Jackson International Airport in Atlanta, and I was supposed to get on a connecting flight to Savannah Airport, on the same day. And um, upon arrival, of course, the flight we had a delay, from Lagos, so that pushed the arrival time forward. And I had 1 hour between my arrival in Atlanta to getting on the next flight to Savannah, and
That's not
that
happening.
was yeah. So when I got to the airport in Atlanta, being the biggest airport I think in the world, I had
Oof.
no idea. I didn't know how to navigate. I had no, I had not done proper investigation or proper research to know that I can actually get on a train at the airport to go from one gate to the other.
Did you walk?
Bro, I was running. I was
Why
running
you dey ask
inside
whether I
the
work?
airport.
He just dey come from Nigeria. You don't see that big airport before. What you dey talk?
I had no idea that I could get on a train. As soon as I got, I was so like I had literally like probably 45 to 50 minutes to get on the plane, to the next gate to Savannah. And then I was running inside like the airport.
With your
Imagine
load,
me with
with your
my
Niger
my
load,
yeah, with my two.
Ghana must go.
Oh man. And in fact, one other story, you would not believe I actually came into this country with Ghana must go. You
Yeah,
know,
I mean,
All of
because
us.
nothing do you now, bro.
Even
no,
me
I mean
too.
do you know what happened? I
Nothing
think
will reduce your weight. Why you
let
don't
me
go
just
use
quickly
Ghana
make
must?
like the tour a little bit to describe how I didn't carry Ghana must go from my house to the airport. I went with one luggage, very huge luggage. I got to the airport, they said my luggage was overweight. And then they were telling me that I was going to pay certain amount of money to, for overweight. And I was like, oh no, I can't pay that much money. I was now looking around. I saw this girl around. She had Ghana must go. I guess they know that people always get into this trouble.
For sure, now
I
business.
asked her, can I buy one? She told me 1,000 naira. I remember very 1,000. I was like, for what? 1,000 naira for
Not be
Ghana
50
must go.
naira, be Ghana must go that year.
I walked away. Yeah, I like, let me go and look for. Maybe the girl knew I was going to come back
She
because I
knows.
went around the airport. I couldn't find
Nah,
Ghana,
no
another
internet
bag.
now.
I was even thinking, well, maybe I can find somewhere I can buy a regular, maybe duffel
A
bag or
regular
something.
bag for
You
where?
know, nope. I had to come back and I went to meet that girl. She just pointed it to me. She never said anything, and I gave her 1,000 naira. And that's how I carried the. I had to split my things
Load.
inside,
Mm.
and put some into the Ghana must go bag. So that's how I came into America with, Ghana must go. So like I said, I had that's my um suitcase and the Ghana must go bag running inside the airport. Like, how African can you
Damn.
be? You know, how African can you be? You know, running inside at Jackson Airport from I can't remember the gate exact, but I know it was quite a distance. I know it was
It isn't
quite a
easy.
distance going from international the arrival terminal to I can't remember the exact gate at look for the domestic flight. Anyway, by the time I got there, I missed the flight.
For
You know,
sure. No?
I missed the flight to Savannah. Luckily, I was even panicking, thinking they were going to ask me to pay for another ticket, buy another ticket, and it was around 6 p.m.
Hmm.
So the good thing, there was one more flight that will be going to Savannah that night. So they told me they will put me on the next flight. It was
Good.
the Delta
Wow.
ticket. So
That's
We're
really
lucky.
that.
yeah, so that's how I was there for like I think 2 hours. Then got on the next flight to Savannah, and um, so I mean, I think if I had made proper plans, or if I had done my proper research, I would have at least tried to understand maybe how to navigate the airport by the time I get there, which um
Yeah. Before you continue,
and
blessing, I think this is very important. There's little small things that you will never know to find out
yeah.
until you get here and it becomes this big deal. Now, depending on you were lucky in that situation, they were like, oh, there's another
Hmm.
flight you can still take. Sometimes that's the last flight. You have to, well, maybe stay at the airport till so I guess
Hmm.
just trying to find out as much as possible. And also, to be fair, then you don't have this vlogging, you don't have this, even the internet.
Yeah. Yep.
There was
Yep.
internet, but it's not as sophisticated as it is now, where you can know almost anything you need to know on your own, or people
Yeah.
information out there. So I think that's also
Yeah.
something to take note of. There are some things, just do as much research as you can, but given the
Yeah.
circumstance that you were in
Yeah.
as well,
And just
try to
to add
dial
to
in
that,
on that.
and just to add to that, networking is also key. Like, let's say
Absolutely.
you're on Naira Land, right? You could have asked
Mm.
people, because I
Yeah.
know that
Yeah.
was very, very helpful for some of the guys that later
Damn,
came
that's true.
after us,
Mm.
right? That came after me. I saw that, especially when I went to Georgia State for my PhD. So those guys on Naira Land were already connected with boys here. Those guys give them the whole download. Say, oh boy, as you they come, see the airport where you go through, see how you go to Waka. We are just saying this for guys where won't come in say, oh man, try network first. Ask
Yeah.
boys around,
Yeah.
because there are platforms everywhere where you can just jump in and, oh boy, I have admission, or I'm coming to so school. There is somebody that is already in that school that has gone through that work
Definitely.
already. I need to
Absolutely.
just tell you, so, oh boy, see the best way to navigate that. Yeah, not to cut you short, just wanted to chip that in.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree. I agree. It's always good to get your research in to make things easier, like make things easier. And then of course, another thing is I arrived on a weekend. I arrived on a Friday.
Ah,
Yeah, so that was another issue. I came in on a Friday, go to Savannah, and I had to stay at the hotel from Friday till Monday, in Statesboro,
Did you budget for that
Statesboro,
before?
Georgia. That was not in the budget, although, of course, I knew I was going to get in over the weekend, but um, I think for some reasons, I was thinking by the time I get to the school, I will find maybe the school there was going to be some kind of arrangement for me to stay
Mhm,
at a
mhm.
dorm or something like that,
but
and
if you say that Lagos today, where
the
you go just rough.
I mean, are
My
you are
brother, they don't dey rough am.
you guys
Yo, you go sleep for
there
street.
you go. I won't go sleep for Melambi or you say that you are.
I don't know, for some reason I was just
When they
thinking,
tell
man,
you say you
like,
get as Nigerian, say, oh boy, mo just dey go. If
shit,
you
how
reach
to be now,
you go
like,
figure everything out.
you go
Now
figure
lie,
it out,
you for
like,
your
some
kid,
as
you
far
go
at
dey
all, you go
street.
find somewhere crash.
Mm.
But I got to the school. I mean, I took the Uber. It was taxi, not Uber. I took a taxi from the airport then all the way to Statesboro that night,
Wait, so
and
from Savannah?
That must have
yeah,
been
from
about
Savannah.
$100 or I'm there about.
I'm pretty sure I can't remember the exact price, but I'm pretty
Baba,
sure
That
when you dey
time.
come, like
it's
say your
close to.
pocket load, oh, because you just dey day hotel, they take taxi. You don't tell me say you na bougie now.
At
Bougie.
least my papa try,
No,
try
papa,
arrange me, he try me, to make sure say I did all
make it
right
like this.
upon
Mm.
arrival,
Mm.
might just settle first. Yeah, so anyway, I stayed in the hotel throughout the weekend, and then on Monday went to the international office, and that's where I met with the lady called I don't know. We're allowed to mention names here. I think Tanya. Her name is Tanya Grubbs. She was the designated, I think, DSO,
DSO. I
DSO,
think
Designated
designated
school
school
officer.
official. Yeah,
yeah.
Designated school
yeah,
official.
She
Yeah.
was very popular amongst us then.
yeah. Tanya, oh man,
Very
Tanya stressed
popular.
me out. She
Her name
stressed
later
me out.
changed from Grub to Breakage. Like she
She got
got
married.
married.
I think she got married, and yeah, and probably
Oh, okay.
changed the last name. That day, oh my goodness, because I was already a week late. You know,
Oh,
I was already a week late. So
yeah.
when I met with her, the way she would be smiling and just being nice, but at the same time knifing you.
Yeah,
So
Tanya was mostly always nice. Maybe I always caught her in a good time. So yeah, go ahead.
Bro, bro, she
so
was
when I met her, and so
she was not always
when I
nice
met with
though. But
Tanya, and
yeah,
then
you were lucky.
Yeah, now which are they think now?
I guess, yeah, I mean, she's doing her job. So
Yeah,
anyway,
that's true.
so
That's true.
yeah, when I met her, and then she wouldn't let me go because she told me that she would not sign me in because she said the already registrations are done.
Ooh.
So she told me that I mean have to go back to Nigeria.
Hmm.
What
And
the
then
hell?
yeah, bruh, this lady said I may have to go back to Nigeria. I say,
Nah,
eh?
they don't understand. She doesn't
I did
understand
look.
the weight of that statement.
She
She's doing
does.
her job,
But
but
she knows where you're coming from. Ah,
Oh my
God of
god.
she's doing
mercy.
her job, but that statement.
She doesn't understand. I begin to sweat. Like I can't sweat. Go back to Nigeria. So I won't carry explain. Like what I want to explain her to say you enter plane, reach Yankee,
Mhm. You
come
read the
back out.
school.
You enter
Mhm.
the school. I want you to explain her. Anyway, so I was in her office and then she told me that she sent an email to the Dean of Public Health. I think it was Dean Evans at the time, and said requesting if I can still register
Oh,
for the semester.
nice, nice,
1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Dean Evans had not responded to her. I was kind of walking around the international office building and then go and ask her how far have you like anything. She was like, sorry, I'm sorry, blessing. I don't think you can register. Like I said, you may have to go and come back, the next semester. They can just defer your admission. Hey.
joke.
Which kind of joke be this one? This is too expensive.
Yeah, you can't afford that joke, man.
But as God will have it, that is where while I was kind of roaming around the international office, I met somebody who is now my very close friend. You guys probably know him, Joe Ghosting. And he was,
Oh,
Joe was
joke.
a professor of, I think, Spanish language. It was teaching Spanish language,
Yeah, I
at the
think I met
university.
him at your graduation.
Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, he was at my graduation. We became very close friends until now. And Joe was like, "Hey, young man, what's going on? You seem so bothered and worried."
Wow.
I had to start explaining the situation. I said, "I just came in. I just came today, and I was told that I cannot register." Joe at the time was on break. It was his lunch break, so he said, "Okay, let's go to the faculty of, or sorry, College of Public Health."
Mm.
So we went to College of Public Health together, and then we met with, oh, God bless this lady, Caroline James. We met Caroline James. I think was the secretary to the dean. So we met Caroline James while sitting in our office. In about 10 to 15 minutes, this lady got me registered in classes. You know, she got me registered in the classes.
Wow.
And then we went back to Tanya, and Tanya was like, "Listen, I'm sorry, the dean has not responded. There's nothing I can do at this point." This I'm like, I said, "I'm sorry, I've registered." She was like, "Is it,
Now, see, wait, just imagine waiting for Tanya.
bruh?"
Like,
No, now the
imagine,
same. She's programmed to
imagine
keep telling
waiting
you
for
that
the
thing that she's
dean
telling
for
you.
the dean to respond. Like if we were not proactive and Joe didn't step in using divine
Yeah,
providence or God.
That point alone could have changed my entire
course.
direction course in this
Trajectory.
country.
Yes, on
Yeah.
how you were moving in the US. You
You
could
know,
just say leave school now to just you
you
understand.
understand? Because now waiting not in my mind now. See how more
Yeah,
if we
that's so
reach this kind of thing.
you. We don't read
Well,
this kind of
I
place.
won't make
Say
movement, just
Tanya
find way
never ready.
disappear.
Now you don't know where they come from.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, I mean, God
She
just has a way
understand,
of stepping in,
bruh.
at points that's very critical, so that even you, it will be very crystal clear. Saying that God, they do this one. No be
At
say
that
I
moment,
sharp, I know person, I too brilliant, I come.
because
No,
Tanya could have taken me to the College of Public Health
she could have
Herself.
if she
actually.
But
wanted
like
to.
I told you, where any they say she's nice, she's somebody that will not make any effort to actually
It,
assist
it's
international
on
students.
you. Can you
She
Yeah,
imagine?
doesn't.
but
Yes,
yeah,
and
so doing
other
that would have been
DSO I
hard,
know
like going
don't
outside,
do that.
like outside our way,
That's crazy.
But again, she could have if she wanted to. Like, okay,
Mhm.
let us go there and see what's going on, all right?
Yeah,
But for her, she was trying to just go
by
by
the
books
rules, she plays
and
by
That
the
is she
how
rules.
all
saying
this
is
stuff.
like when you put
Yeah.
cassette inside radio and press play at every interval. Now, so she could tell you, "How you? I've not heard from this."
So that's what she was. She kept telling me for more than 3 hours. I was already panicking and just stressing, sweating. I'm like, what am I going to do? And I
So
can't go
when you
back to
told her
Nigeria.
you've registered, what did she say?
She was surprised. She said, "How did it happen?" So I explained to her that I met someone who took me over there, and she was like, "Oh, lucky you, blessing. Well, welcome to the US." That was when this woman collected my passport.
She never even
Of
collect
course.
them
That
before.
was when she collected my
She don't
passport,
collect anything
stamped
from you
it.
before.
Yeah, stamped it, recorded my name and information and everything, and that's how I got in. Yeah. So
Before you go ahead, blessing. I just
mm,
thought this thing just spot a thought. So possibly there's someone that came in. She told the same thing. The person was late. These things happen, right? The person was
mm,
late, and the person just doesn't know the way about, no connection, no Joe walking by, no taking
yep,
them, and they go probably from there they streets or something or
yep,
go whatever their situation,
yep,
like this life is, oh, man,
And another learning curve.
man.
And another learning curve is now for viewers. If you reach there, say the DSO not they do anything, or Benny, just go to the department yourself.
yep,
Let's say you are
That's
late.
cool.
yep,
Mm,
You are late for
absolutely.
some very reasons, and the
mm,
DSO is telling you, you have to go back to Ivory Coast or go back to Nigeria. You're telling say, Madam, just wait, give me a minute.
mm.
Go try look, use your GPS, because now it's a lot easier because of
Yeah,
Mhm.
true, true.
improved internet. Go straight to the dean's office and say, I'm an international student just coming in. This is my situation. Because the faculties in the school will help you more
Yeah,
than the DSO,
absolutely, absolutely.
Yep,
because they are the one that gave you admission in the first place. The DSO
So
has
they have
has
made
no,
plans
has
for
no
you.
vested interest
They have made
in
plans
you
for
being
you,
there. They
basically.
already made plans for
They are
you.
waiting for
So
you.
once you come in, they are willing to make it easy for you to get up
mhm,
to speed. So I'm just saying, for moving
yeah,
forward, these are some of the learning tips.
I would even
Yeah.
suggest, Mark, that potentially you don't even tell the DSO you want to make that move, because you don't know how they reason out. The few things say maybe you want that kind of a thing. And for them, it
mhm,
counts against them and the school if they admit someone, the person doesn't register and stays in the US. So maybe you just tell the person, like you said, I'm coming. Don't ask the DSO where is the department. Can I go and meet the dean? That just
yeah,
go and do that. It's not
Yes,
illegal. They will help you out.
of
yep,
course, of
yeah,
course. Mm.
yeah. I certainly
I just wanted to
agree
add
with
that.
that.
I think
Yeah, certainly agree with that.
So
Yeah,
just to summarize that, so that challenge can be placed as coming in the first time, not having enough information, and also being able to be a little bit proactive, right? Because there will always be issues. Generally,
mhm,
once you come to America, so I think
yeah,
the lesson is don't give up, don't lose hope, no matter how bad it seems. There's always something that you can do about it, right? Instead of just telling yourself, "Oh man, no school is not for me," or make I just find how I go take, work out.
uh,
Try
yeah.
exhaust all options first.
mm,
And one more thing, before I even came, because I was in constant communication with Tanya before I came. When it was very clear that I was going to be a week late, before I came, she told me in an email. The last thing she sent me in an email was because I sent her an email like, "Hey, I'm going to be a week late. This is because of the date for my visa appointment, and was the same week that the school will be resuming." She
mm.
told me that she thinks I should defer the admission.
Oh,
You understand? So she already told me then that I should defer. She suggested me then to defer the admission to the following semester. I was the one that said I will still try, but she said that they. I think I will try to look for my email again. From that conversation. But I think she must have. She said that the best option for me right now is not to come and move the admission. You know,
So maybe that
and
explains why she acted that way. Then that
Yeah,
makes more
like
sense
that
now.
okay, I
yeah.
already told you,
Because
bro.
she already gave you heads
So
up and tell you that this was the situation on ground. So
yeah.
usually she
So that
felt
could
you
be.
were you were taking matters in your hands. So which is okay.
Yeah,
Since she already told you about it.
Yeah,
So
because
that's
it's me. The thing there is when you're trying to move overseas like that, and you're making up plans, that could be your moment, right? Because me planning to defer the admission to the following semester. Of course, a lot of times people do it and they still come by the following semester, but anything can happen between within that period. You understand? Coming, I was supposed to resume in August, and you're telling me to come in January. That's 5 months period, right? Anything can happen. Within that 5 months period, that would derail the whole plan entirely. I mean, not
true.
trying to be
True.
pessimistic.
It could be personal reasons, but
Yeah,
also I deferred.
mm,
So
yeah,
we're on opposite side of the coin. I deferred
yeah,
my admission for a year and nothing happened. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm saying, yeah, it could be good, it could be bad. You don't know.
Yeah,
But in
it
your
could, it could
case,
be
you didn't
for
want to take
any.
that chance
Yeah.
because you felt you have
So,
to. What I'm trying to say is it's individualistic. You have to feel it within yourself. If you felt
mm,
something wrong was going to happen, the chances that something wrong was going to happen was high. Because that's Murphy law. Like, or
mm,
more, this thing should not work again. But I just felt,
yeah, yeah, that makes
man, I
sense.
was
But
I
even
was
if you
good for 1 hour, for one
okay,
year
even
rather. Like,
yeah,
imagine.
even if you didn't think anything was going to be wrong, you can just think I am going now and I have to go now. I think that was blessing situation. Like I don't need to
Yeah.
yeah,
do all these things now. Just keep doing it. It will work out. Just
mm,
if you have that
yeah,
feeling too, those things are two important feelings.
yeah.
Ways that you can approach it. So yeah, please
Yeah. So,
please go
what
ahead.
other challenges, blessing, did you experience? Like, this was pretty
Uh,
significant. So,
Yeah, significant.
after getting up to speed with your classes, where were the other or what other aspects of being in America you found challenging?
I mean, it's. I'm not sure if I begin to go into details of every other
We have time
challenges
to.
I had. We have the time to take it. But
Yeah.
I will just make reference to maybe one last thing. So to give opportunity to you guys to also share your own experiences. Being in class, you know, at the beginning it was really challenging for me because it was difficult for me to pick up. I wasn't used to the like the Onyibo talk
The
then.
mode we're talking about the mode
Yeah,
of communication, right? The way they speak.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mm.
exactly. So and then I was always sitting at the back. Sitting at the back then was not, it was for me then, it was out of being shy as an international student coming in. And then I wanted to always sit at the back, so that there is no much focus on me if I'm in the
If you
front.
don't like feeling lost but still want to move to the US, then tune into the Mech Blaney podcast show. Meet Ian I, Blessing, and Ikohi, your friendly guides to making the big move to the US. Whether you're dreaming of new opportunities or reuniting with family, we've got you covered. Our mission? To give you the tips, tricks, and insights you need to navigate the immigration process smoothly. So grab your headphones and get ready to embark on your journey with us. Welcome aboard.
And so because again, the reason why I also stayed there was because I wanted to take my time I was always reading their lips, you know. So it was after a while, of course, that I began to pick, and
Wait,
can
are you saying you
write
weren't hearing them at
without.
all?
I mean, I could hear, but some of them are very, very fast. And to them, we are very fast as well. When you communicate with them, they say we should slow
You are
down when we're
talking
trying to
fast. That's why
communicate.
I'm shocked that you
They
are
say we're
saying,
talking fast.
yeah.
But when, to me, coming in as, a Nigerian student, an international student coming in newly, who is not used to,
That manner
that
of speaking.
manner of speaking and, communication, I thought they were speaking too fast for me, so then I'm trying to take my notes, and I missed a lot of points because I really
Wow.
wouldn't understand, but that didn't last for long, of course. I, of course, I caught up really fast, and was able to, you know, which one of the ways I, overcame that challenge was making friends with, you know, American students. And of course, by the time you're standing in front of someone that's speaking with you as a friend, you can easily, understand what they're saying. So I was able to pick, the different mannerisms and accents and all that. And also writing tests in every class. Like there's always this quick test that we do in every class.
They call it pop quiz.
Almost every class, pop quiz. Like they just come and then, oh, we have a pop quiz, and so you really have to be ready, you know, in the class, and make sure you study your notes from the previous class, before coming to the next class. So I mean, there are some other challenges as well, but like I said, that probably can come. I'll probably highlight that much later. Talking about my accommodation, housing issues, transportation issues, and even feeding, paying school fees. I didn't have GA in the first year. My first year, I paid out of pocket.
Bro, we're
You
similar,
know,
very similar.
so yeah, so
Let's say you pay 14,000, I'll be 13,000.
No, it wasn't
well, not
14.
everything, but I think because
6,000.
then I had waiver.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, 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 okay.
So I think with the waiver, I paid like 5,000 for the first semester and 5,000 for the second
I think it
semester.
was 5 or 6,000.
Yeah,
But I
five to
remember
six
Yeah,
that.
thousand.
different years now, different years.
Mm.
Yeah. So that was what really helped me.
Damn.
The second semester, even getting that waiver was like a lot of walking, like going back and forth to the graduate office, to go and talk with the director of graduate studies, and but anyway, that's like I said, that's another story,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for another day. So I would
That's very
yield
important.
for you guys to also share your experiences.
Yeah, so just to put it in perspective, right, two challenges has been highlighted by Blessed. The first one was you have to be able to make enough preparations before coming in, right? Whether it's
Mhm.
at the point of understanding that you're already coming in, your visa is ready, you already bought a plane ticket. Ask boys, oh boy, how these things they go, make where which route, how the coming in, are they setting terminals that are better? Then also look for someone in the school that is already there to give you heads up about some of the classes, about some of the process that you have to go through as a new student. What are the things that you need to do, or what are the things you need to be ready for? And also that's the
Oh,
first one,
yeah.
especially coming in now. There's no point making the same mistakes that we made. And the second one was language barrier. We might think, oh boy, we're native speaker of English, but getting here, you go to science, you go to say the speed of speaking is very different. So your
No
problem is
English
not
they
even
just speak, especially
understanding.
when you first come.
Your
The way
problem
it
is
sounds, the way
actually
it sounds
hearing what they
to
are
them,
saying.
the way it sounds to them too. It's like
Yeah.
Yes,
nice and
you can actually hear and understand it, but you might not be able to hear it because of the
Mm.
speed. So it
Mhm.
really is not, it's not a question of comprehension ability. You actually understand what they say, but if you can't hear it in the first place, you cannot even understand what
You
they.
can't understand. True.
So
Mm.
one of the best way he was able to go about that and overcome that particular challenge was to make friends. When you
Mm.
make friends with Americans, I'm just saying that's one way to go around it, because the more you
True.
hear
True.
something,
True.
right? It's just human nature. Your brain adapts and is able to understand things a lot quicker because you are
Yeah.
exposing the brain to the same information over and over and over and over again. And with repetition
Mm.
comes a lot of understanding. It makes you be
Mhm.
able to process things a lot faster. So
Yeah.
those are the two challenges from blessing. So a little bit, I will give it the floor to Annie to possibly highlight just two challenges like that. Then also, lastly, I would just speak a little bit about mine and then probably wrap it up from there.
Yeah. Yeah. This is interesting because I think my own experience would really highlight the points that we've been making in terms of gather as much information, network as much as possible, and in my case, because I already have friend, sister, there was it made the journey quite not as stressful. And it was also a case of listening, following what they inside the US are telling you versus they in Nigeria that they are trying to help you are telling you. For example, you want to book a flight. Someone is like, "Oh, uncle, I need New Jersey. Meanwhile, you are going to Texas." Or you understand that kind of thing. Like, oh,
Yeah,
so
go through New York.
New York.
New York is cheaper. Usually for Nigeria, that's the conversation.
Yeah. So
the
the
conversation is a lot of
Yeah.
price. Oh, this is the cheapest plane. Oh,
but it actually is not. But it
No,
actually is not.
because the metal costs, the time costs,
Everything is a
a lot
lot
of
of flights. You will get lost. You will.
That's what I
all
mean.
those
A lot of things can go wrong. Yes, a
All
lot
those
of things can
craziness.
go wrong.
So yeah, and knowing that Georgia Southern, because I was trying to get a straight flight, and Wale was like, maybe he can pick me up in ATL. The problem was the time that I would get there, he would not be able to come. But me, I didn't even mind. I go day airport. Anyhow it be. I was at the airport for 12 hours. Got there around, I don't know, night, maybe 11 p.m. Then he came in the morning to bring me to Georgia Southern. But I think of course one of the main challenges was just it was like too many things were happening. Like you said, you started walking. It's also a function of you could probably not hear what if you ask someone something, they look at you sometimes because they're not hearing you, they just go. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or they already told you something, they struggle to hear you, then they gave you an instruction, you still cannot comprehend what they said.
What they said, yeah.
Like, yeah, you could read books, but I think in my case, something that also helped me was before I came, I was going to French school as well. So I think that made me started understanding. It wasn't a direct, but they started understanding how people, so the structure of what they might be saying. So because they taught us some of these things there, besides the language, how people might be shaping their mouth, what they might be trying, So I was trying to use some of those techniques that helped me to understand. Because I remember talking to the first two people. One just look at me like this. He just kept on going. Okay.
Like what the hell is this?
Yeah.
This African boy.
What language is this? So that of course, at the airport, there's multiple people. But I think in my case, getting to the school was easier for me to understand them for some reason. And also knowing Blessing, knowing Wale, and I also came in with JP. So you have that at different points. I had people.
How did you know Blessing? I don't get it. Through who?
Oh yeah, I was going to come. I will emphasize on that. I'm just like spreading it, right? Giving like a layout. So having people at like different points, registering, moving, paying, landing, carrying, that helped, But then, of course, when I got the admission, in fact, I got the admission for Texas A&M first, and that was where I wanted to go. The problem was it's a big school. I mean, I didn't know this. It's a big school in San Jose. It's probably the number one enrollment in the US now, like resident students. I mean, it's always been top 3 any year. I think they have like 75,000 students. But I didn't know. I'll send an email. You get a reply. 5 business days will respond to you. 5 business days. Okay. 10 days, these people never answer. I said, which kind of problem is this? Then the admission for Georgia Southern came. I'm like, this school, I don't even know what it's about. So Wale figured out that school actually before. I think he got the admission, but he didn't go. But he met Dr. Evans, God rest his soul. Dr. Evans, another helpful person in that school, especially in School of Public Health. If you're African, is always able to, make you feel relaxed. He's going to talk to you for a house and make you feel relaxed. God rest his soul. So, anyways, what made me come to Georgia Southern when eventually I sorted out the Texas and everything, but I was kind of worried, like, hey, this one that they are not responding quickly. Nobody say, I don't want to come here one day. You run up and down with this one. So one day I was going home from Japa. I was working in a psychiatric hospital then. I think I just sent an email as I was leaving the compound. I sent an email, As I enter the road, I got a reply. It was 3 minutes. I said, now this school I'll go.
Yeah, they're very quick in responding. Just
3 minutes. I said, okay, now this school I go. Me, I know. It was so. I felt like, man, these folks wanted me, even though Texas A&M is bigger. But at that time, I wasn't looking for. For me, it was quality, how the thing will be, right? So I just then what's her name? There's this what's that lady's name in School of Public Health? This African American admin lady. She was the one that responded to that email. I mean, people say she's tough, but she's just
I know the person you're talking about.
Yeah, but anyways,
I think her name starts with an S.
Probably. Anyways, she sent that email. So I sent her another email. 30 minutes later, she responded within, once she got that about classes. Say, okay, this one be like, say, we get something going here now. So that because for me, I always knew that integration is of utmost importance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I chose the school, and I was now. So you remember from the last time that we spoke, I said I was always looking for scholarship because I didn't think anybody, my parents, should be paying that. Because those fees that year, what they see. Even UK, you see like £14,000. I say, this money will keep it. So I was trying to get scholarship. So that's when I think she was. I think either her or Erica sent me Blessing's link, right? That was how I got to know Blessing. So that's how then Blessing let me know there's this international student waiver and things like that. So I followed up with Blessing. Luckily, I got it. I think I got it the day before I went for my interview. So I just printed it. In fact, at the interview, of course, it wasn't a stressful interview. Oh, you work here, fam, so what do you do? I said this. Why are you going here? How are you going to pay? I'm going to blah, 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 my uncle. And I also have a scholarship. I said, oh, you have a scholarship? Yeah, just say no more. I just knock me that thing. I say, so for me, I was also trying to understand the process, what are they looking for? What carries weight? Yeah. You would have read a lot of things, but once you are in their front, I was profiling sometimes. So I ask people, how did your interview go? Oh, they said this, I said this. Okay, I see what they might be, what you might be optimizing for, when you're filling out in general. So I think knowing that someone is going to pay or the school is ready to pay for you is always an advantage. So anyway, so I came in, and Blessing also helped me with accommodation. So that accommodation part was also, you see how the thing they work. So knowing someone or that networking, I'm going back to that. Finding things, in the place that you're going to always helps. And luckily for me, I wasn't too hell bent on going to a particular school. I just wanted to come in. I knew the things I kind of wanted to do, and just know that let me settle in as easily as possible. So now that you remain after the waiver, now you remain that 6K.
You have to raise that money, man.
I get 2K. So between Kingsley, JP, and my sister, so all of them, I think, and some people here and there, small. That's in Coraggio, so I was able to borrow.
Yeah. I remember you also reached out.
Yeah. That's in. So I was having, it's almost like having people at different points that can step in. Just makes that, because that thing, where I want to balance that 4K, no GA like you mentioned. So I was like, they don't pay this, they don't pay that. Parents don't pay this, don't pay that. And for me, it was kind of a personal mission. I didn't want them to pay anything once I left UI. Basically, that kind of a thing. So I was just trying to, because I feel I can figure this thing out. So between that, I was able to balance that first semester. Now second semester, very, very interesting thing happened. So I think I applied to there's this guy in social behavior.
Just to slow you down a bit. Yeah. So if I hear you correctly, because I like just making it easy for
people. Yeah, for sure.
So the primary challenge that you actually had if I understand it correctly, it really was just the barriers of communication.
Yeah,
Because
but
coming in, you already had a lot of information that has
yeah,
to do with ticketing, that has to do with planes, that you already had friends.
logistics.
You already had friends, yeah, that were able to pick you up.
Yeah.
So a lot of your problems associated with logistics of actually coming in
Yes.
was partially or fully solved. So really, for you, the major challenge was you also like the second challenge Bless was having was barrier to communication based on the way people speak. But you also had an advantage because you went to French school. So pretty much most of the you had a soft landing compared to
Yeah,
most.
yeah. So that's the point
Okay,
I'm trying, and the reasons for the soft landing is what I'm just
you
highlighting.
just highlighted.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The classes were not too difficult. I don't know, for some reason I was just like, for me to understand what they were speaking. I guess maybe I don't know, but it wasn't as difficult. I didn't struggle too much to understand what they were saying. But the money part was kind of, for me personally, I wanted to not be as, take a lot of weight away from, my parents. They don't try. But I was also in a position to, to try and push for this thing. So I was able to get the money, pay back the ones that needed paying back, the
Okay.
ones that didn't paying back. Thank you so much. God bless you. God will continue to replenish your pocket. So I think it's mainly those two. So just to highlight, serendipity too. So I got the GA I got for the second semester was the one I now use throughout. I didn't even know the person that had the GA. I didn't know that Tarasenko. Ha ha ha. Fire full of public health. Anyways, I didn't even know her. It was Dr. Regan. I was also, this thing is very instructive. I was a very curious student. Of course, I love policy, right? So whenever I had our classes, I would either ask question in class or after the class, start asking questions that is not even within the curriculum. That kind of a thing. Because I would watch at night, I would watch TV adverts advertising drug. I'm like, how can someone be advertising drug medications? How can they, how are patients going to understand? This doesn't, as a pharmacist, like, how are they supposed to decide? I went to our office, like, how can the FDA be allowing them to make this kind of and someone sue the FDA if they have it? She was just like, okay, calm down. Let's look at this. She's a lawyer too. Before she came
Yes.
to School of Public, she practiced for like 20 years. In fact, she
Mhm.
was a clerk for Justice Scalia that died, I think, 2016. So
Really?
yeah. She was a
Wow.
clerk for her.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's a big deal in that way. Like, but she won like award like 2 or 3 years straight. Best can't remember this teacher person. But
Oh
anyways,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
most
She's very
importantly,
accommodating. Yeah.
yeah, most importantly, those questions made her like, okay, started, like, then you now talk a little bit like, yeah, I want to go. Oh, I think I wanted to go for that interview with the other doctor that I already had. I said, I have to go for this interview. Say, oh, I'm trying to get a GA. Say, okay. So I'm looking for GA. That's how that came up. So it wasn't even like I went to meet her, but it was more like this.
Yeah.
This guy is even pushing
Mm.
me to be thinking like this, that kind of a thing.
Mhm.
So of course we discussed that. Then our office was right across Dr. Tarasenko's office, right?
Mhm.
And later I figured that they were not really even close pals like that. I mean, it's not like she had anything against her, but that was not her crew. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But somehow she was like, hey. So I think I went to Chicago. She was like, hey, there's this person. I think you should apply. I spoke to her. So I sent an email, blah, blah, blah. Tarasenko, I didn't even know her. She was like, hey, can you meet on Monday? It was on Friday. Say, can you come on Monday at 12? Luckily, my ticket, I think, was going to bring me in first thing in the morning, something like that. Yeah, because I left Chicago, I think, around 4 a.m. So I got in like 6 or 8, whatever. So anyway, so I went to her office. She didn't really even ask much. She just wanted to know. I mean, I think that woman already finished work because I not
Yeah,
tell
they're
her.
already giving you.
I basically did not tell her. She's not like, we'll start this thing. We have this class that is coming. You are me.
Good.
Waiting for time in. I go do all these things and more.
Always ready, man. You have to stay
Yeah,
ready.
no. I actually enjoyed her. To be fair, even though she's a tough person, I actually enjoyed her. But I just wanted to say, I guess my point I'm trying to make there is, You can speak out to say your problems, but another way can also just be engaging, show interest when you are around. Of course, assuming you're a student, even if you're not a student, potentially if you just show interest in something, sometimes they are willing, they feel they are part of you, they want to be part of your success, in that way.
Yeah.
So I think that's the case. I mean, I still spoke with her late last year as well. So I think that's what I wanted to emphasize on that. That's how that happened. I didn't even really have to say anything to Tarasenko when I got there because she already cleared the work. But that engagement, constantly asking questions, doing assignments on time, doing well in the class, it made her have that confidence. Like this guy will feed anything that Tarasenko wants to do, which is a different department. That was the epidemiology department, right? I was in health policy. See how the team be. Because sometimes they will tell you, you can't go from this department to that. This like,
Okay.
Yeah. So it's mainly those two things, and I wanted to emphasize that also because of how it happened, and also it helped me to then pay for that semester and even the rest the following year as well.
Okay. So just to better understand this, first challenge was barrier to communication. Second challenge was a little bit financial, but you had a way around it, which is very important, which I think this is also good to remember. Networking, go out there, being able to make yourself available. Don't be weighed down by, how am I going to be able to pay this? And, because I'm new, I might not be able to engage. I might not be able to interact. So don't just put yourself in a box. Be very open to ideas. Do not fret or do not worry so much about speaking to professors in your class, because these are one of the important resource that can actually help you along the process. But I just also want to put a remark there. It's also important that you understand what kinds of professor. Reagan is a different ball game. So what do I mean? It's not everybody that you have interactions with that will always lead to a positive outcome. I want us to put that at the back of our mind. But it's good. There are ways to tell if somebody has your vested interest at heart, right? Because this nobody tells you this. We're human beings. The minute you start talking to the person, you are able to tell certain qualities that resonate with you. And I might not be here to tell you these are the things to look out for. But I'm telling you, just listen to your intuition within yourself. Why am I saying that? Because all three of us have met this same person, and our conclusions are not very different of the kind of person she is. So that tells you that three different human beings, three different outlooks, same conclusion. So it has to be the person, not us. So there are certain things that has to resonate with you.
Absolutely.
To be able to appreciate that. So those are the two things that Annie mentioned. Now, just to close the site.
Before you, I just want to dial in on the difference. I don't know why I was speaking in class. In Nigeria, I don't talk in class, and our whole training in Nigeria is that you keep quiet in class, and when your professor is talking, you just keep quiet and keep more quiet. keep keeping quiet.
True.
I don't know why I was talking in class. But what in this environment, if you are talking, if you're asking questions to them, you are engaging, you are making it interesting for them. To them, you want to be here, so they want to help you. Because this transfers to when I now went to PhD in Texas A&M. We had this student that used to talk in class a lot, but was not doing well, was not going to do well in the class overall. I had another student that wasn't talking actually in Nigeria at all. They were in the same boat. The professor was worried about that one that used to talk in class. He wasn't worried about that one that how we just be in Nigeria. I tell them what to do, but some of them do it. So people have different level of comfort with these things. So she was telling me she spoke with her mom, who is also a teacher, about this student. I'm like, what? So basically, I just wanted to dial in on that point, especially if you are in school. I don't know how it plays out really, in a different environment. But that engagement is positive. It's not. You're not going to be punished for it. Like in Nigeria, you've had people speak up in class and they fail that course. And you can trace it back to the fact that they read something else outside of class. They wanted to share it. The professor shut them down, think that this one is trying to do too much. So feel free to engage. Whatever is worth, I think it has more positive overall than negative.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so in a nutshell, Wasabi will not punish you here. So that's
no. Wasabi will not. It's designed for Wasabi in this area.
It is trying to say. So
wasabi with sense too, not just of course wasabi with sense.
Yeah.
Not disturbing the class.
Nonsense. Culturally insensitive stuff now.
I think culturally we usually we're guided for Africans when it comes to the sense part. So that's what I'm saying. But I also think what also helps too is when the classes are smaller, it's easier for people to speak up.
That is correct.
A lot of people that I've noticed that tend to not talk in loud crowds tend to be very, very, very fluent when they're in small spaces. So that also helps the kind of education pattern here compared to when I was in Unimed, there's something we call 500 LT. And the reason they call it 500 LT is because you have 500 students.
And the lecture
taking that particular chemistry. So me way day back, be say if I have to shout for the guy to even hear waiting at the talk. So most likely, I'm saying there are situations in Nigeria where people will just give up. So there's no point asking any question because first of all, the professor is not even interested, and secondly, it's so different for you to actually pass your message across. When the teacher is right next to you, it's easy for you to.
It's a lot easier.
So I think that also helps. But now, just to close the cycle, a lot of your challenges I noticed for both of you guys had to do with coming in when you're already here, trying to acclimatize. For me, it was very different. A lot of my challenges were even pre-America because my scenario, unlike the both of you, was I was married before coming in. So what that changes your whole dynamics entirely when you want to immigrate. It's the challenges you guys are more concerned about is very different from what I have to worry about. I actually got admitted in 2016, deferred for a year to 2017 because I got married in 2016. So I needed to pretty much, in an African sense, spend 1 year with your
1 year of honeymoon.
African sense. I
don't think a Caucasian will worry so much about that.
No. I think it's a normal thing. It's just a sensible thing to do when you just get married.
No. I'm saying the conditions for us are different. A Caucasian probably is easy for them to move with their wife anywhere, whether it's admission or not. Let's say they just usually get married and they're trying to get back to school. 90% of the time, they are schooling in the same states that they're getting married in. So that is not an issue for them. Well, for
anyway, I guess because the listener would have asked is okay, why didn't you plan to move with her? But that's, I guess, is a whole different.
I mean, for Africans to plan to move with your wife means you have to have a lot of money. Two of them are bougies now. When they feel for me, it was very different. I didn't have the kind of resources you guys had, like parental support.
Why do you think we had resources? Not like we had a lot of resources also. Everybody does that to,
What I'm saying is, for me, I bought my flight ticket myself. I'm trying to buttress my point. I bought my flight ticket myself with my money. I paid everything to the Naira myself. Nobody gave me money to stay in a hotel or gave me money to go for visa fees. I paid everything from 0 to 100. So what that means is whatever money you have saved is gone. How are you now going to bring your wife in addition to that? That's almost impossible, except you have the right support around you. Somebody that is willing to assist you financially and say, because immigration takes a lot of money.
It does. Whatever money you think you have,
it's never enough.
Whether they're helping you or not.
Yeah.
I think all those. We see how people are lists. I get lists. Maybe I don't throw away the list. I get lists of men with here and there. So
to be honest, my challenge was very different.
I don't spend my own money. Finish.
A lot of mine was actually financial. I really didn't had a lot of support. To be honest, whether it's from family or whether it's from outside family, because that sole decision of immigrating was mine and mine alone. It wasn't something that I talked to my dad, I want to go to school, and my dad was like, okay, let me assist you with a certain amount of money, or let's try to make this happen. My dad, first of all, told me that I didn't have to immigrate. the country was good enough for me to be able to figure out things on my own. That's my that outlook.
Same
so
here.
Having that kind of outlook, how you won't go take me that kind of math? Or come and give me 1 million. But I say, my dad will always tell us as a point of emphasis that growing up, he had no support. But he lost his dad when he was like 6. So he literally had to do every single thing for himself to get to wherever he was. So he used that same mindset for his kids. So if you are coming, you have to come correct. Don't come and be asking me for money that me and you both know it's not there. So, I mean, you're coming and saying, oh, my father told me that the best thing he could do for me was to send me to school. And when I was done with pharmacy school, I knew deep down I couldn't go back there to ask him for a dime. Rather, the reverse was the case. I was the one sending money home. So, I mean, somebody where you don't work for years, they notice, they send money, go house. You can't get admission. You're all going to go meet the man, say, you dey go Yankee, he can't give you all the money. Where you don't they give us sick.
And you don't even tell you, say you don't need travel.
You don't tell me, say I
think that even underlines, like the philosophy is not there,
The belief is
the activity is not
there. Yeah, so my case was very different. And I also, where more made my was I just got married. Money to marry for Nigeria, my brother. It's not joke. If I not spend money, 3 million as at that time, naira in terms of the wedding.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was just everything was happening at the same time. In fact, it was so bad that my siblings told me, because for Africa now, they will support you for marriage. As I tell them, say I won't go Yankee the next year. They say, oh boy, you don't collect money for our hand to marry. Well, we want money to go. So I understood that this project was just going to be on me.
Oh yeah.
They don't fight for you already. You don't marry. They don't contribute money for. Because that's what we do in our house. They don't contribute money.
They don't try.
They contribute money for you to marry. Then they come like a couple of months later and say, "Oh Benny, I'll need more money." From where now? My sister said, "You don't say you want travel now. You go marry." You have to tell you how Africans they think. Say, you won't come over this country.
Yeah, it's resources, right?
You can't go wrong one month, but it boils down to resources.
Yeah.
But if the money there, those things not the issue.
Do what you have to do, man.
People they marry, they'll just give you as bride price gifts. Oh boy, take visa, I'm gonna go enjoy on our life. Mm-hmm. Like honeymoon things for different countries. There are cases like that. So a lot of mine was really mental because I kept asking myself, man, I don't get this admission now. I go Yankee. First of all, I can't feel different for a year. So try to come back to your point is when you defer something, it takes away the urgency. From like that's when I got the visa, got the admission, I was so excited. Oh, I just go do visa, do this. As I now called them, it was this black lady that Annie was kept talking about. I've forgotten her name. Very nice lady. I called her on the phone. She told me that was it on the phone or an email? She told me, you don't need to come. We will defer this admission for you for a year. She just married. You relax. Don't worry. Your quota is already assured. But next year, you don't have to. I asked her, do I need to pay to secure the admission? She said, no. Just write an email telling me you want to defer. And then when I defer, you're good. So she deferred it for a year. So I went back 1 year. I said, okay, let me use this 1 year and save, plan, and do all of that. Also get to understand my new wife. So for that 1 year, I was really preparing for my trip, So I also deferred my visa interview to 2 or 3 months, I believe, before coming in August. So I did it in around June. Got the visa, started looking for tickets, paid for a one-way ticket. One-way ticket at that time was probably $400 or $500. So that was a lot of, saving, hustling. So I now asked myself the question, because at that time, to be honest, I wasn't doing very badly. I was still working with Novartis. Mm-hmm. Money was coming in, and I was right in the cups of being a manager. Mm-hmm. I don't go manager meeting. And so manager interview.
They won't trap you.
Don't go manager interview for nobody because the arm of Novartis that we had at Sandoz was being fully integrated into Novartis, right? So they won't just, it was being separated fully from Novartis. So as they want to separate, they need their own guys. Where go they run things? So I did the interview. They said, "Don't worry." I said, "Oh, just give me that Edu Delta. I'll be a manager there." Just so everything. I'm like, man, bro, this thing don't make sense. Make I come out. So I spoke with my wife, I was like, she said, man, you will need come out because she won't come out too. So if you don't come out, it'll be difficult for her. Because we had this conversation even before I got married. I'm like, okay. So I was scared really of you're always on the path that looks clear, and they're going to start all over again. So those were some of the mental hurdles I had to worry about. I had to worry about the fear of actually failing because you had a successful career, you are living it. It's not like you didn't have a job. Everything looks well. You were probably going to be a manager, and by now, probably a franchise head in Sandoz. So why make that trip? So mentally, that was that. I think there are also a lot of Nigerians in that boat where you have a situation where everything seems rosy for you now, right? And you had a visa.
Yeah, that was my situation. Like I mentioned the last time. So like,
are you going to just leave waiting you they get to just go start afresh? And you will never understand you are starting afresh. Oh, let me be honest with you. Like you tell yourself that, but mentally, once you get here, it begins to dawn on you really that you're actually starting from the scratch.
in fact, this thing is you said is very important. It's very. You know why? For like maybe 10 years before, Popsy go to follow people in like all this distant nephew talk. After I talk finish, this traveling, just go and start again. So it was then that I never even want travel. I never even maybe I never even enter USF or something like that. So, begin you say, oh, go and start again. Another 2 years go pass. Go the year started. Why is this man start again? Or Momsy can't tell me, say yeah. When he said get that chance, go, but it's fine. But that's a different generation. People that went and people that stayed, they are all fine. But people start calling, he's trying to settle this one, settle that one, he should settle that one, someone that is doing well.
Mm-hmm.
So when it came to my time, I already knew the deal.
Yeah.
You're gonna start again. Like you're doing well. He doesn't believe in traveling like your dad too. He doesn't believe. Yeah, I mean you're doing well. Maybe just So the begin again thing, even though I've been hearing it, I've been thinking about how it's gonna be. I've been talking to people, bruh. Even when I started again, it didn't even click that I started again. It is when years have passed.
Yes.
Wait. So I actually started again. Imagine having all that information. Until you live it and experience it. Something that he's been talking and be saying just out of the blue.
It's a lot easier.
I liked it when I was going to leave again. Yeah, it's good, but you're going to start again. Because Nigeria was already looking funny, but he understood both sides. Like, it's good, though, but yeah, go blah, blah, blah. But still, living here, I didn't know when I started again. Even when I threw out that masters, I don't even know. Say I don't start again.
Yeah. See, do you know why you go to see
on it? That the mental impact.
You don't know. I when it go begin dawn on you now when you begin to get these credit card debts. So let me explain what I mean. When I did in Nigeria, I don't owe anybody money, bro. See, I think there are two things we really need to appreciate. If you are coming out of school directly and you immigrate, it's just the best. I can tell you that for a fact. Because you don't understand what a corporate culture, what it means to earn money, what it means for you to see a career path ahead of you. You don't have any fears. You go just like nothing to lose. Now, Grand, you day now, go Yankee. But if you don't date the system, I started working in 2012, bro, and I left in 2017. I was in the system for 5 years, earning money. They pay bills for people. I got to Yankee, started. The people when they pay me for go call me, I'll say no money. They will say, this guy, what are you talking about? I went back to school. I mean, you will be pharmacists. They go back to school. Like that will be. Are you not going backward? How can you say you've been earning this amount of money, solving these issues while you were in Nigeria? Now you're there abroad, where they expect there's more money.
Yes.
Because you can't solve the same problems that you've been solving before.
The same one that you solved last 2 years ago.
My siblings, my cousins, they couldn't wrap their heads around it. Bro, I couldn't pay 20K Naira when I did Yankee. See, this is with a laugh over around now, but bro, as at that time, your mental state is fucked up.
You're like, what is going on? Why is all this happening? Why is
this is you being able to settle a lot of stuff as a man. Now, after I paid for my visa and everything, I had savings. Everything went down the drain, like down towards this project.
Yeah, so it didn't go down. It didn't go down the drain. It just went towards the.
No. I mean, at that time, bro, when I was in when I did first semester, that drain I didn't see, but now
no pay. I mean, you see what's going to happen to you for this country.
So those were some of the mental hurdles I had to also overcome, and the fact that I was also leaving my wife back in Nigeria too was also something. You know, I think there's a few people too that also took that path like, oh, so you come first, leave your wife, and try to settle things. Those things also has a lot of mental hurdle that you also have to overcome as a man, especially.
Yeah, I was going to ask what that was.
That was so difficult, man. Like giving your wife as soon as you married.
If you guys didn't have any children. So for me, if you guys already had kids, it's a little bit easier in an African sense. Because you don't worry too much about what's not that it's going to change much, but you're already, because the way we see marriages in Africa is value proposition. Okay, so what are the products of the marriage? Children is one of the biggest. I won't use the word product, or children are not product, but children are one of the most visible evidence of people are getting married, especially in an African sense, because 50 or 60% of the time where we get married is for procreation. Yeah, you might love your wife, but you also want to be able to continue and see your offspring. So
I wanted to explain something to me. I don't understand. How does I would think having a child makes it difficult when you're thinking about traveling to the US, when you already have a child, in terms of the, where does the child stay, cost and all those things. But you are framing it as if it's easier. So I'm trying to understand. Maybe I'm not getting.
So let me explain what I mean by that. I'm saying leaving your wife alone and immigrating to the US first. I'm not talking about the associated costs that comes with it when you want to bring them over. You are looking at one step ahead.
I'm talking about the kids. So that portion of the wife, I knew, like Leslie was saying, like that one is something that I would want you to say. But I know that challenge. I understand that challenge. But the one that I think maybe what I thought I heard from you was that having a child, I'm talking about is the child portion. That makes sense.
I guess the point maybe
is trying to explain. That's what I'm trying to explain. So I'm trying to say this, that it's a lot easier to immigrate, to leave your wife alone when she has a child for you already back home. I'm not talking about bringing them over now. Bringing them over, there's more.
Either way, yeah. I'm getting you.
I'm saying, when I was living, when I told my dad I was going to leave, my dad told me, this woman has not given birth for you. So in a nutshell, in an African sense, the marriage is not seen as fully consummated if you don't have children in the union. So they are saying, okay, if the children is already there, there's already evidence of visible signs of the marriage. So
especially after you don't make us spend all this money.
What is money? I don't invest and all those things. So you come on, I can't decide say no one do again. Those were the thought processes. Like, is a lot of so much kept saying, I don't understand this Yankee where they go. You go need the back Nigeria first. But I guess I wasn't willing to listen at that time. So, so those were some of the mental hurdles I had to worry about. So getting here, leaving a new wife back at home, because she was staying alone, very far from my parents' house. Like in African sense, it's good that as you are living, a wife sometimes is even recommended to go and stay in her mother-in-law's house, since the husband of the house is not there. That's the African tradition that it has always been, but now they don't do it as much. So, but she wasn't doing that. She was still staying alone in the house I rented, close to but she was working in Uniben, close to Uniben where we got a place. So those were the two serious challenges I had to deal with. I had to deal with the issue of fear of failing, the mental challenges of leaving an established career, trying to jack back to the US when in reality I didn't know what was at the other end of the spectrum, but I already knew what I had in hand when I was in Nigeria. Secondly, I was also married, and give or take, I can tell you categorically that immigration has a negative impact on marriages generally. That I have known from personal experience, and I've also from a lot of research works out there. The If you are immigrating and
On
you're
average,
new,
right?
on an average, yes, on
Yeah.
an average, the best bet for the both of you is to live at the same time, if you can. That also helps improves the odds. So I had to deal with a lot of those mental child hurdles even before actually coming into the US. Getting into the US, there are myriads of challenges. Just like Blessing said, that I also have to, of course, during the episode we are going to highlight those. But I just wanted to point out that a lot of the challenges that you guys had was very different from mine, and that's the advantage of a podcast like this, where you are able to see everybody's perspective in a different light. You
Absolutely.
know, a lot of people in my shoes that are married will certainly have the same fears that I have. It's different if you are single, because you don't have to worry about anything. You're worrying for just yourself.
Mm.
You don't have somebody else that you have to worry about. Like, oh, okay. Then also getting here, I also had to make sure that I had to bring her over. So, bro, man, the stress, just plenty.
Yeah.
And also the
Okay.
options are limited, which we will address later. If you don't date the country, you want to organize things for yourself, option limit. So a lot of stuff we just be saying the physical father you're married just takes away from you as an immigrant.
Mm.
But you have some positives too, which of course we'll also talk about. And
Yeah,
we'll also,
Yeah.
I imagine there's positives too, from
yeah. So I
interacting with
think
some
in
people that are
summary,
married here or that came together or came first 1 year later, brought the person, some of these things. Yeah, there's some.
yeah, but the odds of bringing it's worse than the odds of immigrating together. I looked into those odds, and maybe I will share some further light on
Yeah,
that.
I think it would be nice if you can share something about that because I think
Yes.
I think a lot more people in the recent maybe 5 years or so are living at the age that they thought they would never need to travel.
Leave. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, so I think that's because I remember even when I was in Georgia side, I had this my elder brother's friend who was talking about traveling. I'm like, bros. And it
You want
wasn't.
to
It was like I was like this, bros.
old?
That time. I mean, we're talking maybe 7, 8 years ago. We're talking. I think it was 38 or something like that. But it was reasoning that we spoke. It's like, man. So now to think that a lot of people now 40, 45, 50 as
And
I'm
doing it.
are
moving.
actually doing it. They're not thinking. They are doing
Yeah,
it.
doing it. You
Yeah.
know?
I mean,
So,
So
it
just
started where the country. It started where the country is for
tough
people at that age to be making that kind of
it
decision.
is. It is. Immigration is for the young guys, to be
Um,
honest, man. Not for the guys
yeah.
in 40,
one.
50s. You should
Yes.
be
Now
thinking about
when you're
retiring and just enjoying life, to be honest. Like if everything was normal,
yeah, of
right?
course, yeah.
Yeah, 40, 50, you should be thinking about retirement.
You're literally starting like it's almost except you are coming in with a lot of money.
Huh. How
Otherwise,
do
you're
you come in
literally
with a lot
starting
of money?
from the beginning.
Who comes
You
in
If
with
you
know.
that?
if you have a lot of money,
And
you will immigrate in the first place.
That's the point. You go to Nigeria.
yeah, I mean,
I mean,
uh,
they'll
eh,
$10 there, and they are not going to come here and
Yeah.
do what in the US.
Mhm.
They can visit,
Oh, absolutely, they do.
but come and immigrate
mm.
and live here because of the green card. They ain't gonna do that,
Mm.
you know. So just to
Yeah, I think
summarize,
maybe one of the episodes in the future we probably should maybe invite people who are married who came in married, just like
Mhm.
you. And because of course I know some people that came in like you came in first and then your spouse joined you later.
Mhm.
And then I know some others that came together.
Mhm.
yes,
One was in school, one was not in school, right?
F2
Then I
usually
know
get
some that came in together, both of them were in school, you know. So I know a family like that. So like different scenarios,
Yes. I think
So
that would be
I
great.
think it'd be great to actually hear from these people, their experiences and how easy, because I believe there are so many people out there that are in the same boat
goals. Yeah,
and would actually love to know how those that have gone ahead of them, how they navigated the whole process. and
I agree. Yeah, that would be excellent.
yeah, I think that would be
That
something
would be
to
that
actually,
would be that would be very, very, very interesting topic. And just to
yeah,
buttress your point, for each cases that you've highlighted, the odds are very different.
yeah,
And do I know this because I've actually looked into it and just go on Google to research this evidence. The
mm,
guys that came in first brought their spouse. The guys that came in together. The guys that both of them came in walking. The guys
mm,
both of them came in. One was walking and the other one was not walking. F1 and F2.
mm.
All four categories, different odds.
Just
And
different experiences.
different and the
Mm,
outcomes, not just in
yeah,
terms of quality of life and also in terms of the nature or the extent or the duration of the marriage, also changes drastically
mm,
True.
with each from one scenario to the other. You
mm,
know, so just to summary, my challenges were mental really before even coming in. You guys was more related to your first port of entry coming in and the things you had to deal with for both you and
mm,
Annie. So in summary, it's just a rich mix of different experiences for all of us, generally, and that is the entire goal of this conversational podcast is for us to bring my own
mm,
experiences.
Mark, Mark, before you close, something just came to mind, and it's something we don't usually think of. And I thought about this actually when I was leaving. I kind of don't frame it as a challenge, but just something to think about, even before I left. And some of this actually happened. You know, you're already at a certain age, you're going to leave. That generation in front of you, your parents, your uncles, some of them are already sick, some of them not sick. I was thinking vividly, how many of these people, because you don't know how long, what's going to happen with, where you're going, when will you be able to travel back and all that kind of thing. How many of them would you still be able to see physically? Now, video calls and all those things, but then there wasn't much video call that you could really do. But even at that, how many of them are you going to meet when you go back? You understand what I'm saying?
mm.
Yeah,
And,
like case,
and,
case in point. Case in point, just to say something. Blessing has never gone back since he got to the United States.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
No, I'm trying to buttress your point. Like,
Mm.
you think
because you don't know what's going to happen.
Blessing was living in 2013. If they tell him
Mm.
that 10 years from now, you've
You will
never
never
come back,
come as Nigeria.
he will
You
say,
say
it's a lie.
no.
Really lie.
It's
No.
a lie. Yeah. So
I'm
that,
just
that,
trying
that
to say, to buttress your point.
you just
That
don't
you
know.
never know.
So that was one of the things that also I thought about. And once I got in, I remember there's this girl in Boston University. We, for some reason, we served at the same place. We met again at church in Daystar. We just kept, meeting and being friends. We came in at August. By January, the dad died.
Ah,
Dad died, and Boston University, that is so expensive. Even after all the scholarship that they gave her, she couldn't go back because the mom was like, how do you now come? You just got there. We are still looking. That was the man paying for her school fees. That was the main man. That was fine. She's a doctor. She had some money, but how much can you really have? You need someone to be working. So imagine that resource is gone. That person actually is gone.
Mm.
So what
and,
that
and she wasn't there for the dad's burial.
she wasn't there. As a doctor, she would still be feeling maybe there was something I could do, if I was around. I'm just
Exactly.
imagining that.
Yeah.
Now she wasn't there. And what that did, because she planned to write her exams and all that. No, I think she started like 3 years later, she started trying to read that
Again, just
thing.
imagine.
But I think I don't know if she ended up doing it, because I know she also went for PhD. I knew that thing made her, she was just going to class if she could.
A life-altering decision.
Yeah,
See,
so I'm saying, like, I
very
thought
key.
about it. That happened then. My aunt too wasn't feeling well. Luckily, she followed me to the airport when I was leaving. It was a crew, it was a whole crew. Like, take care. She wasn't working for a while because she was sick, and when I went back, she was not around with us anymore. God rest her soul. I stayed with her and all those.
It's
These
like
things.
that. It's like
I
that.
guess maybe I'm just more sentimental that way. You just don't know how long it's going to take you, what's going to happen, who's going to
Yes.
who's not going to. And sometimes that can who depending on who that person is, it can affect you, like that my friend that I'm talking about, your whole plan, your whole trajectory, and all that. So I just wanted to mention that. So I wouldn't classify it as a challenge particular, but it's just something that maybe
No, it's not a,
we
it's
don't
not,
even think about it.
it's a
Yeah.
challenge. It's a personal
Yeah.
challenge. Like in my case point in mind, I've lost both my brother and my auntie while
Mm,
I've been in the US. So
mm.
it's not, you're not far
Yeah,
from
yeah.
you're not far from the truth. I'm telling you about blood brother. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
cousins. So, but these are the things that people don't talk about.
Mm. You don't
But
even
it's
think about it because like
you
it's
know,
far, but maybe it's not too far.
but
When it happens, there's a couple of other people
it
who.
factors into life, right? And,
Mm,
and I don't know if Blessing wants to share. Blessing has his own similar experience. So this thing they happen to everybody.
mm.
And I'm telling you, though we don't talk about it because we're Africans, we know they talk so much about mental health. The thing they disturb everyone.
Everybody.
Do you know
Mm.
sometimes for nights I go to sleep, I go to dream about that, my brother. I go
Mm,
just wake up, they dejected all the whole day.
mm. Because what can you
So
do?
what can you do?
Hmm.
My,
Mm.
so my aunt also died. I couldn't go back for the burial. So because you can't keep going back every single 6 months, person die. You go, where you want to see the money? You just dey go. So these are some of the some of the things that people don't talk about, but it's associated with immigrating because the people that you grew up with, the culture, you're not there every day present in their life, and there's always this nagging feeling you have that, especially if you are a health professional.
Those are the
Come,
pains associated with
yeah,
immigrating. You know.
comes with the territory, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's been a good round today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sharing our experiences, and hope everyone who's had a chance to stay to the end, you know, is able to draw one or two lessons, and especially for those who are planning to get on the same journey, and also looking forward for to your feedbacks. Feedback. Some of you probably have the same similar experiences, or slightly different experiences. We look forward to you sharing your experiences with us as well. And just want to thank you for the time, and thank you for being with us, and you know listening to us. If and yeah, guys, anything you want to?
Yeah, I think it's been a great one. Absolutely. Thank you for your time. I hope you've learned more than one or two. Lesson said one or two. I'm thinking you've learned five or six. Hopefully, we hope that our experiences, help you to be able to pick out what might work for you or not. And as we continue with further episodes, bring people that also have different perspective. They can share their story, and hopefully, a lot of times, even though it's some things are happening to us, it's not really only happening to us. It's happening to other people as well. Sometimes almost the same, very close, but still have to feel it. We have to go through it individually. So yeah, it's been a great one. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to talking to you again in the
Mhm.
next episode.
All righty, yeah, I know both of you have already highlighted it. Thanking the audience, all the viewers for creating the time to listen to us. But what I just want to say before we wrap is just hit the subscribe button. And we have way and tons and way and more stories to be able to share with you guys. Because the goal here is to put our experience out there and just try to see as many people that can get to listen to us and hopefully benefit from some of the things that we have to share on this platform. Please do not forget to subscribe to the channel, and look forward to seeing you guys again next week. All right, guys, signing
All
out.
right, signing
Bye.
out. Good night.